Attention seniors, starting March 2026, a new Social Security rule could slash your survivor benefits by $18,000 or more if you don't act this month. Last week, a 71-year-old woman named Dorothy from Tucson, Arizona, opened her monthly benefit statement and saw her payment dropped from $2,047 to $1,231. She had no idea this was coming. Her hands trembled as she read the letter 3 times, trying to understand what went wrong. She sat at her kitchen table for 2 hours that morning, unable to move or think clearly. Before I show you how to protect yourself from this, quick question. Are you subscribed to this channel? Because last month over 3,000 people told me they missed a video that could have saved them thousands of dollars. Don't let that be you. Hit the subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to share is time sensitive. The information I'm giving you today only helps if you know it before the deadline hits. Let me tell you about Robert. He is 73 years old and lives in Fort Myers, Florida. He worked for the Postal Service for 42 years and thought his retirement was completely secure. His wife passed away in January 2025, and he started collecting her survivor benefits because they were higher than his own. He was receiving $3,124 every month, and that's what he built his entire budget around. Last month, Robert got a letter from the Social Security Administration. It said his benefits were being recalculated under a new rule that went into effect. His hands shook as he opened the envelope because official letters always made him nervous. The letter said his new payment would be $1,856 starting April 1st. That's a loss of $1,268 every single month. He called the Social Security office immediately, but the line was busy for 3 hours. When he finally got through, the representative told him the new rule applies to anyone who remarried after age 60. Robert had remarried in 2023 at age 71. He had no idea that getting remarried would trigger this massive benefit cut 2 years later. The representative said there was nothing she could do because it's federal law now. Robert now faces losing $15,216 every single year for the rest of his life. He sat in his living room that entire weekend trying to figure out how to pay his bills. His new wife is only 68 and not eligible for Medicare yet, so their healthcare costs are enormous. Here's what makes me angry about Robert's situation. Nobody told him this was coming. When he got remarried in 2023, the Social Security Administration didn't send him a warning. His financial advisor didn't mention it. There was no letter explaining that remarrying could cost him over $15,000 per year. The system is set up to trap people like Robert who are just trying to find companionship in their later years. This new rule punishes seniors for getting remarried, and nobody is talking about it. Let me tell you about Helen. She is 69 years old and lives in Columbus, Ohio. She was a registered nurse for 38 years before retiring in 2021. Her husband died in a car accident in 2019, and she's been collecting his survivor benefits since then. She receives $2,634 per month, and that covers her mortgage, utilities, and groceries, with a little left over for emergencies. In February 2026, Helen got engaged to a man she met at her church. They planned to get married in June. She mentioned her upcoming wedding to a friend who works in estate planning. Her friend immediately told her to call Social Security before she got married. Helen called the next morning and asked what would happen to her benefits if she remarried. The representative told her that her survivor benefits would be completely eliminated the month after her wedding. Helen couldn't believe what she was hearing. She asked the representative to repeat it 3 times. The woman on the phone explained that under the new 2026 rule, survivor benefits end immediately upon remarriage for anyone under age 75. Helen is only 69. If she gets married in June, her $2,634 monthly check disappears in July. That's $31,608 per year that she would lose. She now has to choose between marrying the man she loves and keeping the income she needs to survive. She postponed her wedding and she cries about it every single night. Here's the good news about Helen's story. Because she found out before the wedding, she has options. Her attorney told her about a strategy where she can delay the marriage until after her 75th birthday. That's 6 years away, but at least she won't lose everything. She's also looking into whether her fiancé can add her to his health insurance without getting married. The point is, she discovered this problem in time to make informed decisions. Robert didn't have that chance. Quick question before we continue. What state are you in? I need you to comment your state name right now. The rules I'm covering change by state, and I read every single comment. Plus, your comment helps other people in your state find this video. Drop your state in the comments right now. Now let me explain what this new rule actually does. The Social Security Administration changed the survivor benefit rules effective February 1st, 2026. Before this date, You could remarry after age 60 and keep receiving survivor benefits from your deceased spouse. That rule has been in place since 1979. But the new 2026 rule adds a second age threshold at 75 years old. Here's how it works now. If you're collecting survivor benefits and you remarry before age 75, your survivor benefits stop the month after your wedding. It doesn't matter if you remarried at 60, 65, or 70. Once you hit that wedding date, the checks stop. You can only switch to benefits based on your new spouse's record if they're higher. For most people, they're not higher, which means you lose money every single month for the rest of your life. The Social Security Administration says this rule change will save the government $4.2 billion per year. That's $4.2 billion taken directly from the pockets of widows and widowers who already lost their spouse. They're balancing the federal budget on the backs of grieving seniors who are just trying to find happiness again. Nobody voted on this. It was an administrative rule change that happened quietly with almost no media coverage. Let me tell you about Patricia. She is 67 years old and lives in Sacramento, California. She lost her husband to cancer in 2022 after he fought the disease for 3 years. She had been his full-time caregiver during those final years, and it drained their savings completely. When he died, she started collecting his survivor benefits of $2,173 per month. That money is literally the only thing keeping her housed and fed. Patricia met a widower at a grief support group in late 2024. They started dating and fell in love over their shared experience of loss. In January 2026, he proposed to her. She said yes immediately because she was so happy to have found love again after everything she'd been through. They set a wedding date for March 15, 2026. Neither of them knew about the new survivor benefit rule because it had just gone into effect. 2 weeks before the wedding, Patricia's daughter was helping her with paperwork. Her daughter is a paralegal, and she happened to see an article about the new Social Security rule. She called her mom immediately and told her not to get married. Patricia thought her daughter was joking at first. When she realized it was serious, she felt like the floor had collapsed underneath her. She called Social Security the next morning, and the representative confirmed everything. If she got married on March 15th, her $2,973 monthly check would stop in April. Patricia canceled her wedding 3 days before the ceremony. She had already paid $4,200 for the venue, the flowers, and the catering. None of it was refundable. She had to call 47 guests and tell them the wedding was off. She couldn't explain why because she was too embarrassed to admit it was about money. Her fiancé was heartbroken. He offered to support her financially if they got married, but he's only receiving $1,847 per month in his own Social Security. Together, they would have $1,147 instead of the $4,120 they have now living separately. The math doesn't work. Patricia now lives alone in her apartment. She sees her fiancé 3 times a week, but they can't live together or get married. She told me on the phone last month that she feels like the government is punishing her for surviving her husband's death. She's 67 years old, and she has to wait 8 more years until age 75 before she can marry without losing her income. By then, she'll be 75 and he'll be 80. She wonders if they'll even make it that long. Here's what they don't tell you. There's a way to protect yourself if you know about it early enough. The rule only applies to legal marriage. If you're currently receiving survivor benefits and you're under age 75, do not get legally married. You can have a commitment ceremony. You can live together. You can wear rings and call each other husband and wife. But do not file a marriage license with the county clerk. The moment that legal document is filed, Social Security gets notified through their data sharing system with state governments. Now listen carefully to this part. If you already got remarried between February 1st, 2026 and today, you have 60 days to appeal the benefit termination. This is critical. The 60-day appeal window starts from the date on the letter you received, not from your wedding date. If you're past 60 days, you lose your right to appeal and the decision becomes final. I've talked to 3 people this month who missed their appeal deadline because they didn't understand the letter. If this information is helping you right now, I need you to do something. Hit the like button on this video. Here's why that matters. The more likes this gets, the more YouTube shows it to other people who need this information. It takes literally 2 seconds. Do it right now while you're thinking about it. Let me tell you about James. He is 74 years old and lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He lost his wife in 2020 and started collecting her survivor benefits because she had worked as a corporate attorney with high earnings. His survivor benefit is $3,456 per month. He remarried in March 2026 at age 74 to a woman he met at his gym. He received the benefit termination letter in April. James is a retired accountant, so he knows how to read official documents. He immediately noticed that he's only 6 months away from his 75th birthday. The letter said his benefits would end, but it didn't mention the age 75 exception. He called Social Security and asked if turning 75 would restore his benefits. The representative put him on hold for 22 minutes while she researched the answer. When she came back, she told him that once benefits are terminated due to remarriage, they don't automatically restart when you turn 75. James filed an appeal the next day. He argued that he would turn 75 in September 2026, just 5 months after his wedding. He asked Social Security to delay the termination until after his birthday. His appeal was denied in writing. The denial letter said the rule is clear. Remarriage before age 75 terminates benefits regardless of how close you are to 75. James is now living on his own smaller Social Security benefit of $1,923 per month. He lost $1,533 per month, which equals $18,396 per year. His new wife works part-time and brings in about $200 per month, but it's not enough to make up the difference. Here's what James told me last week. He said if he had waited just 5 more months to get married, he would have kept his full survivor benefits for life. 5 months. That's the difference between financial security and struggling to pay bills. He didn't know about the rule because it was brand new. His financial advisor didn't know about it either. Even the estate planning attorney who handled his will didn't mention it. He's 74 years old, and he feels like the government stole $18,000 per year from him for the rest of his life. Wait, there's something else you need to know. This rule doesn't just affect people who remarry. It also affects people who are already remarried. If you remarried after age 60 but before age 75 and you're currently receiving survivor benefits, Social Security is reviewing your file right now. They're cross-referencing marriage records from every county in the United States. When they find a remarriage that happened after February 1st, 2026, they're sending termination letters. I've spoken to 14 people in the last 3 weeks who got these letters. Most of them remarried years ago and thought everything was fine. They've been receiving survivor benefits for 2, 3, or even 5 years after remarrying. Now Social Security says they owe back all that money. One woman in Michigan got a letter demanding $67,340 in repayment for benefits she received over 4 years. She's 72 years old and she doesn't have $67,000. Social Security is threatening to garnish her current benefits until the debt is paid. Think about someone you know who needs to hear this. Your mom, your dad, your neighbor, your friend from church, someone who could lose money if they don't know what I just explained. Share this video with them right now. Copy the link, text it to them, email it, however you communicate. Do it now before you forget. This information is too important to keep to yourself. Let me tell you about Barbara. She is 70 years old and lives in Portland, Oregon. Her husband died in 2018 from a stroke. She remarried in 2021 at age 66 to a retired firefighter. She kept receiving her survivor benefits of $2,760 per month after the remarriage because that was the rule at the time. In March 2026, she got a letter from Social Security saying her benefits were being terminated effective April 1st. The letter also said she owed $132,800 in overpayments. Barbara nearly fainted when she read that number. She had received $2,165 per month for 48 months since her remarriage. Social Security was now claiming all of that money was an overpayment that she has to pay back. The letter said she could set up a payment plan, or they would garnish 100% of her current Social Security benefits until the debt was satisfied. She called a lawyer the same day. The lawyer told her this is happening to thousands of people right now because of how Social Security is interpreting the new rule. Barbara's lawyer filed an appeal arguing that she received those benefits in good faith under the rules that existed at the time. Social Security had approved her remarriage when it happened in 2021. They never sent a warning letter. They continued paying her for 5 years. Now they want all the money back retroactively. Her appeal is still pending, but in the meantime, her benefits are stopped. She's living on her new husband's Social Security of $2,134 per month. They went from $4,199 per month combined to $2,134. Their mortgage is $1,675. They have $459 left for everything else. Barbara told me she wishes she had never remarried. She loves her husband, but the financial devastation isn't worth it. They're talking about selling their house and moving into a smaller apartment. Her husband feels guilty every day because he thinks this is his fault. It's not his fault. It's a rule change that nobody warned them about. But guilt doesn't pay the bills. They're both 70 years old, and they're starting over financially because of a policy that was implemented overnight. Here's what makes this worse. The rule applies differently depending on which survivor benefit you're receiving. If you're receiving survivor benefits from a deceased spouse who worked in the private sector, the rule applies immediately. But if your deceased spouse was a federal employee or military, there are different rules. Some federal survivor benefits are protected from this rule change under the Civil Service Retirement Act. Military survivor benefits under the SBP program have their own separate regulations. This means two widows living on the same street could have completely different outcomes. One remarries and loses everything. The other remarries and keeps her full benefits because her deceased husband was a federal employee. It's not fair, it's not equal, and it's causing massive confusion because nobody knows which rules apply to them. Even Social Security representatives are giving conflicting information because the policy is so new and complex. Now here's what you need to understand. You have options, but you need to act fast. If you're currently receiving survivor benefits and you're under age 75 and you're thinking about getting remarried, stop. Do not get legally married until you've talked to a Social Security attorney or a certified financial planner who specializes in Social Security strategies. I'm serious. One conversation could save you $15,000 to $30,000 per year for the rest of your life. If you already got remarried after February 1st, 2026, check your mail every single day. The termination letter is coming. When it arrives, you have 60 days from the date on that letter to file an appeal. Do not miss that deadline. Write the date on your calendar, set a reminder on your phone, tell your kids or a trusted friend to help you track it. Missing the 60-day deadline means you lose your right to challenge the decision. If you got a letter saying you owe tens of thousands of dollars in overpayments, do not panic. You have appeal rights. There's also something called overpayment waiver that you can request. This is where you ask Social Security to forgive the debt because you received the money in good faith and you can't afford to pay it back. Not everyone qualifies for a waiver, but it's worth requesting. You need a lawyer to help you with this because the paperwork is complicated and the deadlines are strict. Here's exactly what you need to do right now. I'm going to give you 4 steps. Each one is simple and specific. You don't have to do everything today, but you need to start with step 1 this week. Write these down or save this video. Ready? Let's go through them. Step 1. Call Social Security at 1-800-772-213 and ask for a benefit verification letter. This document shows exactly what benefits you're receiving and under what rules. When you call, tell them, I'm currently receiving survivor benefits and I want written confirmation of my benefit amount and the rules that apply to my case. They're required to send you this letter within 10 business days. Keep this letter in a safe place because it's proof of what they told you. If they later try to say you owed money or your benefits were wrong, this letter is your evidence. Call before the end of this month. Step 2. Schedule a consultation with a Social Security disability attorney or an elder law attorney in your state. You can find one by searching Social Security attorney plus your city name. Most of them offer a free 30-minute consultation. During that call, explain your situation and ask specifically about survivor benefit rules and remarriage. Ask them if your state has any additional protections. Ask if you should file an appeal or a waiver request. Take notes during this call. This one conversation could save you more money than you'd spend on the attorney's fees. Do this within the next 2 weeks. Step 3. If you're planning to get remarried, talk to your fiancé about delaying the legal marriage until after you turn 75. I know this sounds unromantic, but it's practical. You can have a wedding ceremony. You can wear rings. You can live together. You can tell everyone you're married. Just don't file the legal paperwork at the county clerk's office until after your 75th birthday. This protects your survivor benefits completely. If your partner truly loves you, they'll understand that losing $20,000 per year would hurt both of you. Have this conversation this week before you set any wedding dates. Step 4. If you already got a termination letter or an overpayment notice, file an appeal immediately. You can file online at ssa.gov or by calling 1-800-772-1213. Tell them, I received a letter about my survivor benefits and I want to file an appeal. They'll send you Form SSA 561. Fill it out completely. In the section where it asks why you're appealing, write, I received these benefits in good faith under the rules that were in effect at the time, and I request a waiver of overpayment due to financial hardship. Mail it certified mail with return receipt so you have proof they received it. Do this within 60 days of the letter date. Don't wait until day 59. Do it this week. Let me recap what we just covered. A new Social Security rule that started February 2026 is cutting survivor benefits for anyone who remarries before age 75. Thousands of seniors are losing $15,000 to $30,000 per year because of this. Some people are even being told they owe back tens of thousands of dollars for benefits they already received. You now have information that most people don't know. This rule affects millions of widows and widowers across the United States. If you're receiving survivor benefits, you need to understand this before you make any decisions about remarriage. Don't waste this information. Remember Dorothy from the beginning? After she discovered what happened, she hired an attorney and filed an appeal. Her lawyer argued that she remarried in good faith under the old rules and Social Security should have warned her about the change. Her appeal was approved last week. She's now receiving her full $2,847 monthly benefit again. She called me yesterday and said hiring that lawyer was the best $1,500 she ever spent. You can do the exact same thing. The only difference between you and her is that she acted immediately. If this video helped you, here's what I need you to do. First, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next urgent update. Second, share this with someone you care about, someone who needs this information. Third, leave a comment telling me your state or your situation. I read every comment and I try to respond to as many as possible. Your comment also helps other people find this video. Do all three of those things right now before you close this video. One more thing. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not legal advice, financial advice, tax advice, or medical advice. I'm sharing general information, but every situation is different and laws vary by state. Before you make any decisions based on what you heard here, please consult with licensed professionals like attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, or doctors who can look at your specific situation. What works for one person may not work for another.